Hi, my name is Ted Cross, and today I'm really excited to introduce you to Novi's latest product, Insight Engine, an ultra-responsive interface that allows you to analyze, view, and export data in record time. Insight Engine renders, in this case, over 2.3 million wells. This is showing our total lower 48 coverage, not including things like offshore data here, but it includes both verticals and horizontal wells across our coverage area. Insight Engine has mapping, filtering, charting, exporting, detailed views, all of which I'll show you here today in this walkthrough. So to start with, I'm going to zoom in here. I like the shift click there as a good way to quickly zoom into an area of interest that you might have. And that will change what's rendering on the map there and instantly also update the charts that I have on the right. So in this area of the Permian, you see all the different wells across the coverage area there, and we're coloring them by default by the current operator. And then the charts over on the right show you the average oil rate versus time and total production for the wells that are within the map. So you can see the big increase of wells from 2012 and before really the unconventional revolution made its way to the Permian. And then the recent wells there that have much higher production rate versus time. And the total production going from just under 1 million barrels a day there to 6 million or so recently around the peak from late 2023 to today. So over here on the map, it shows by default all the wells that we have in the area, but I can also hit this little filters button to filter to different sets of operators. So for instance, I can change it up to show you, let's say, just the Delaware and Midland subbasins. I can do horizontal wells only, and let's just do wells here from first production year from 2024 back to 2017. So that's a little powerful tool there for helping you to filter down to whatever you're an interest in, and it does it quickly and responsively as well. So let me go ahead and hide my map there. You also have the ability to add in other filters. So these are just our defaults here, which are pretty useful, but I can also go over and by hitting this little wheel button here, change which filters I have available in my list. So there's my 20 right there. So maybe I want to change it up and maybe I want to use the ticker symbol or something to do my filters. So I can use that. I could also go in here and if I wanted to use like an EUR, I can do that as well. So just giving you a bunch of different options here, and then you can reorder those over on the right. So maybe I move up the ticker symbol. So then I can go in, I've just added that filter in, I can open it up, and let's say I just want to focus on the top dogs here, so I'll just shift click through those, hit the apply button, and they'll render on the map and on the right for me. So that gives me 21,000 wells. So on the top right chart, you can also, you have a lot of different options here for comparing performance. So really this is about how does one group of wells compare to another, whether that group is older wells versus more recent wells, one operator versus another. And by hitting this little drop down over here, you can change those comparisons. So a common one, maybe you want to look at formation to see how different zones are performing. So if I wanted to do that, maybe I just want to filter over here over on the Midland side of the basin so I can zoom into that area and you can see those different performance trends. I can switch it up to show you cumulative versus time, change it between log and linear, normalize it by lateral length. So lots of different options here to help your analysis. So you can see these like Joe Mill wells here that are outperforming everything else. Really, really strong performers. Maybe I want to click those and see where they're showing up on the map. So you can see where those are there in Midland and Martin counties, just as one example. So I can go over there and unclick it, and it'll re-render everything on the map for me. I can change it up between oil, gas, water, BOEs, gas-oil ratios, etc. So 20:1 is a very common one that's very useful. So that'll allow me to compare things on that metric. And then this chart down here in the bottom right gives you a lot of the same abilities, but you can also change it and look at things like how those compare over time, like in the aggregate. So here it's showing you my oil production and my gas production, each broken out separately, rendered in that BOE on a 6:1 basis. So that's a pretty useful one to look at there. Let's see here. So let me go back and clear this out so that I'm no longer just looking at those bigger operators. So I can go ahead and apply. I have zoom to data on, so it'll go back to looking at my total Permian view right there. One of the advantages of Insight Engine is that it already has the public data integrated together with Novi's proprietary data. So one thing I can do here is switch it up to show you whether or not the well has production sharing. So this would be a well that has proprietary data from one of our operator or minerals company sources. So pretty good coverage across the Permian right there, a huge number of wells and production. So that's a pretty useful thing to look at. You can also zoom in a lot closer here if you wanted to get into some sort of a detailed workflow. So for instance, let's get into the nitty gritty for different formations and take a look at some specific well details here. So I could switch that over to formation. Nice. So now I can see a little bit more details about everything. And then let me zoom even further into this area here. So maybe you're interested in some larger scale developments with multi-bench developments going on. So this one over here looks like it has seen a number of different wells over here. So I can click on one of these individual wells, like maybe this Diamondback Smith Jelonic well, and I can hit the well card, and that will bring up some details about this well. So I can see the production history of the well, rate versus time for oil, gas, and water. I can turn on or off any of those production streams if I want. I can see some summary information about the well, so I know that it's a child. I can see the lateral length, completions intensities, things like that. I can switch over and bring up a gun barrel. So this is one that I can color by formation. So if you don't work in the Permian, it can get pretty complicated over there. But this is one where I can go and change things up. Like maybe I want to show you by the current operator or by the first production year. So you can see that, okay, so the left half of this unit was developed in 2017 and the right half more in 2022. There's also a details button here where you can go and browse through different pieces of information about the well. Things like production metrics, subsurface spacing, all sorts of calculations. And then if for whatever reason it's something that's not available here in our well card, you can also hit the state filings button here, and it'll bring up the specific state website information about the well, as long as that's available. So here I can go and in the Railroad Commission hit that view button there and click through, and I can look at more information about the well if I wanted to. So there's a couple different ways to get information out about what you're looking at. If you just wanted to export exactly the data that you're looking at in one of these charts, you have the download CSV button here. So this will literally give you time series broken out by Wolfcamp A, Wolfcamp B, etc. You can do the same thing for this chart down here, but maybe you want to export more information about the wells. So for that, you have this export data button up here that you can use to export more information. But before I show you that, I want to show how the filter by API list works. So let me cancel out of that, and let me go ahead here and zoom back to data. So I have this little list of API numbers over here that let's say a colleague has given these to me, and I want to do some detailed analysis of these wells. I can just take that list, whether it's here in Excel or whatever, and hit Control-C. And then I can go over here into my filters list, open up my API filter, paste it, and it will automatically parse and filter down to that set of APIs that I have provided it. So here I've chosen just 107 wells from Mewbourne, 106 wells from Mewbourne, it looks like, that are in Lee County. And if I want, I can export those wells. I mean, they update all my charts as well, but I can also go over here to export, hit that button, and bring up my export data. So this gives you the ability to export out well data and production data. So the well data includes things like operator, completions information, spacing information, and the production, of course, has oil, gas, and water. I can hit the preview there if I want to see what exactly is included. So you can see different pieces of information there. And then whenever I'm ready to export it, maybe this is Mewbourne oil wells, I can give it a title and then hit the export button. And because this is a relatively small number of wells, it will export pretty quickly. And by that, I mean, 30 seconds, a minute or two. If it were up to 25,000, if it were at the higher end of that, it would take closer to 15 minutes. But that's still pretty quickly to let you download. And that'll just send you an email or to whatever email you put in there with the download link. So very easy. You can open it directly in Excel, directly in Spotfire, or whatever BI tool that you're using to do your analysis. So very, very little useful thing there. So before I close up here, I just want to highlight a couple last things for you here. So let me go up here into the top right. There's also this little help button you'll see. So if I hit that, I can open up the documentation. And that'll give you a lot more information about Insight Engine. And this, if you, let's say you forget how to filter on an API list, you can go in here and zoom to that section and see how you can filter down to that API list. So just as one example. There's also the open support ticket button up here, which you can use to put in some information. This can be, maybe it's a suggestion that you have about Insight Engine. Maybe you found a bug, definitely let us know and we'll get it fixed as soon as we can. And that'll go to our support email, which we love to get information and suggestions from you guys. So let me cancel out of that. So this is an exciting new release for us, but it's really just the beginning. We're going to be putting more and more workflows, visualizations, data types here into Insight Engine to give you these powerful tools, incredible data sets, and really easy to use workflows for whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever goals that you have for the energy industry here in North America. So we're really excited to have this out here. Please let us know what you think. You can send us an email at support@novilabs.com or send me an email at tcross@novilabs.com. And we'd really love to hear from you. So thanks for using it, and let us know what you think.